Okay, blue team, hold please. Ball goes in. It gets laid off here. Now it goes to the next player. And now you just take his spot. Cool? Now.
I grew up in San Diego playing with San Diego Soccer Club and the Pirate Vaqueros in Mount Carmel High School. I moved on to play at Santa Clara University, where I found I wasn't quite good enough to play for the fourth best team in the country. No problem there though. And I've continued playing until roughly now. So I've been playing for just about my whole life. My parents met on a soccer field, so I never really stood a chance, to be honest. Before Spokane, I coached with Cal South ODP in their camp settings, and then I started doing the licensing at age 19, and I got through college with a D license, and then came back to San Diego, was coaching for San Diego Soccer Club, got my C license, I was coaching with San Diego City High School, or San Diego City College, Orange Glen High School, and then I moved up to the University of Idaho, coached with the women while I did a master's degree in education, and bounced around from San Diego back up here, and I moved up here for the Sandpoint Strikers job as the director of coaching, which was my first director of coaching role. I stayed there for a year before moving to Spokane Shadow when I took Abbas up on an offer of director with this club. I like the community. I like the community of Spokane. I like the community that we have in soccer in this town. So I like that community when people are yelling at me across the field. I just enjoy coaching soccer in Spokane, the demographic of player we have, and I enjoy the kind of big little city vibe that Spokane has. When I came in, we had, about a year afterwards, we decided to revamp our curriculum and match it up with the Sounders, the Seattle Sounders Youth Academy's curriculum. So we had all of our directors and a couple staff members working on that. Tons of meetings, tons of homework for everyone so that we could all come back and put it together, and I was kind of the gatekeeper of how everything went in, and I think we have a really nice curriculum now. It matches up with the cycles that the Seattle Sounders use, and we have our own created documents. Myself and Kevin Moon have made most of them, although we have Karen Boucher having made a few, a couple staff coaches. We even have a kid who made one as part of an assignment to try to make a session, and then we worked together and made sure that it was an appropriate session, and we have a kid, Tyler Gefkin, who's got a curriculum session in our curriculum, which I think is pretty cool. So it took a while, took a lot of work, but we're really proud of it. It was great working with the Sounders. The day I joined the club was the same day that we had our first affiliation. Obviously it had nothing to do with me, but I've not known the club outside of the Sounders affiliation. And we've had workshops with them, they've come and visited us, we've had Mark Nichols here, we've had Henry Bronner here, Dan Locke here. We've had so many different opportunities to learn from what they're doing, which is really, I mean, they're probably the most progressive youth academy in our country, and going to their workshops, going to the first team and second team training, which we're always invited to, has been a really cool opportunity for us in Spokane to see how it's done with the MLS Cup champions at times. I mean, they've been to 4 last MLS Cup, 5 MLS Cup finals. So that's been nice. I think it's great that we're the only club in the country that gets to wear the Rave Green replica jersey. That was a big deal for us. And I think that the Sounders identifying our players and bringing them in for evaluation has been a really big benefit to us, because we've had players like Ray move on and join them. We've had many other players like Zach Olson and Eric Collins, Eli Ledgerwood in their program. And Lincoln Crockett as well went with 2 of those boys to South Korea and competed against professional teams from Brazil and Japan and the Philippines, which I think is just the coolest opportunity for an 11, 12-year-old kid to have.
Well, also, you've had a few years coaching the first teams. Talk about that experience.
I love the first team. I miss it. It's really nice when you're the head coach of the first team to have the opportunity to work players that you coached when they were this tall into an environment where they're getting to play against intercollegiate players or guys that have been former professionals, or even just in that competitive type environment with other men. So that's been awesome to see those kids come through and then get minutes with the first team. Jake Levine, NPSL Player of the Week, scores a hat trick at age 18. And then you get to work with players like Jesse Rattan, who is a director for our club and came through the club. And he's, again, working with players that came through the club. And then we have the odd player like Brian Hernandez, who didn't come through the club, but he is here and for all summer and works with our players now. So I've really enjoyed the first teams. The men's and women's first teams are an awesome opportunity for players from this club to get that extra opportunity to develop. And I think that's very important in a community like Spokane.